Hello and welcome to Doodle Club. I'm going to do a weather update immediately because just as I clicked record, we've had a hailstorm and the temperature has really dropped. So it's very cold. Welcome. Welcome if you are new and wondering what on earth you've clicked onto. My name is Cate Field. I'm an artist, teacher, speaker and writer, passionate about helping people find their creative spirit and then develop it. This Monday is the second week of the Heartscapes Project. So if you haven't watched my two previous tutorials, you could watch them after you've watched this one, which would be good. So working in my book, and what we're going to do today is some doodling. We're going to do things like this. I do like doodling in my sketchbook. It just makes me very happy. I did a class this morning and we were doing all sorts of stuff like this, which was great. Anyway, you're not going to need very much, maybe some acrylic pens or some felt tip pens, and you could also use colouring pencils as well. So let's go. Oh, this lesson is going to be fun. I'm going to show you how I create these sorts of designs. A few people have asked me, how do I even begin? So I'm going to show you. So there's this one, and then this one, which is in the messy stage. And I'm going to show you how I resolve this and bring it all together. I'm going to be using a whole variety of different colours. Now, often I will use warm colours or cool colours or complementary colours. This time I'm going to throw caution to the wind, and I'm just going to use whatever colour pops into my head and into my hand. So I'm working in my sketchbook. You can work on a separate piece of paper if you like. You could also do this with felt tip pens or colouring pencils, that would work as well. So I started off by dividing my page very loosely into squares, not quite squares. So obviously this is a square sketchbook, but you just divide the page into sections. Once you've done that, you're going to draw in some hearts. You could use a stencil, you could use a template. And then you're going to start by colouring in the backgrounds. And I'm going to do that, and we can do this together. And I'm going to be using some of my older pens. I'm kind of like using some of them up, really. It's quite a good way to do that. I'm going to just sort of dive in with a bit of orange. I have used paint for this, for those ones there, just acrylic paint, so you could do that as well if you want to. Now your background could be blocks of colours like I've done there, or as I'm going to do on this one, you could just divide up the space using some mark making patterns, wiggly lines, straight lines, cross hatches, circles. I'm going to use all of those in this particular design. And this is why I think people get a bit anxious, because it does look complicated, but it really isn't. And if you break it down into these tiny bits, you'll see that it really isn't that complicated. And because this is in my sketchbook, it's me trying out ideas, seeing what I like, and then some of these ideas I will develop further, which I will do in a future tutorial, because a few people have asked me about developing ideas. And if you have, thank you. Love reading your comments. They're just wonderful, actually. and those of you who have joined the Facebook group, thank you so much for all your support of other people, because it's just such a lovely group, very, very friendly. So if you're thinking that you might like to join our friendly Facebook group, the links are below in the description. I'm just going to put a few stripes here, as you can see. Just a few, quite random really, and that's fine. Right, I'm going to go in with this yellow. Again, some of these are going to be running out, I know, because they're getting a little bit old, but that's okay. And I'm going to go into this, just this quarter of the heart with my pen, like that. So you see, we're just working in one little bit. And this is where it's just fun, and you don't have to think about it too much. You know, maybe you're feeling a little bit stressed, that things are just like, oh dear, a little bit chaotic. So this should have been the pink of that background. I obviously missed that out, so I'm just going to put it in like this, because I think it's really nice to just doodle just for the sake of it, just enjoying the process. And I think that there's nothing wrong with doing that. There really isn't. Now obviously you could use your favourite colours, you could stick to just one or two colours. You know, you could make it quite minimalistic if you wanted to, or you can go a little bit crazy like me. There we go. I do hope you are well. Thank you for all the weather updates. I do like a weather update. Today in Dorset, it's been beautiful, but very cold. I mean, not very cold like some of you are experiencing, but pretty cold for us. It's about 2 or 3 degrees centigrade. So a little bit frosty this morning, but beautiful blue sky and a fantastic sunrise. Oh my goodness, it was beautiful. So I get sunrise over the sea from my bedroom window, which is rather lovely. Let's just do that. Just putting in some patterns here. So I'm going to kind of develop a few of these spaces. If you've got your favourite patterns, you know, maybe you do some sort of Zentangle type stuff, you could do those. Or you just make them up, which is what I do. I'm not very good with rules. There we go. Just putting those in there. And yeah, there's going to be some patterns that I prefer. Like this space here should have been that green. I was obviously in a bit of a dozy mood when I was starting to do that. Perhaps I was just distracted. Oh, this pen has just died completely, so which I was expecting that some of them would. Let's pick up this. It's not going to be exactly the same colour, but it won't matter. Let's do that. There we go. Put that in there. I do encourage you to be brave. And I think when we're working on something quite small like this, then we can be brave, can't we? All right, let's do another pattern on this one. Do some sort of loops. And if you're not sure of what patterns to do, just think about sort of wiggly lines, circles, triangles. You try out different things. I do like circles, so I will be putting some circles in, and I might use some stencils. I haven't on this one, on this page. I just sort of started adding different shapes and things like that, but adding some stenciled pieces could look really good, so I might do that. I'm just going to work in this little bit here. I'm going to go in with my pink. Oh, I do like pink. There we go. A few years ago I did have absolutely bright pink hair. That was fun. really was bubblegum pink. And then it sort of faded to a sort of a pale wishy-washy pink. That was quite nice as well, actually. See, the advantages of getting older. You don't care. Certainly don't care what other people think. There we go. Just putting that bit on there like this. So again, it takes a while to build these patterns up. But again, the process is part of the joy, I think. Just got to pop those in there like that and do pink around there. So if you watched my last tutorial where I was working with acrylic paint and we were working in the negative spaces, then we can take that technique again. If you haven't watched that tutorial, then you could watch that after this one. Let me just pop that in there. And then I'm just going to add these pink dots. Then we start putting in some decorations. And I like to use this style of art and illustration to help my students develop techniques. So although it looks like we're having fun, which we are still learning. You're learning how to use the medium. You're learning about colour and pattern, which are the formal elements, or two of the formal elements. And this is all really good stuff for improving your own art practice. And there's always stuff to learn. I'm just putting in a few lines on that one. So I'm going to do a few more on that. But I'm going to come over to this one because there's a few things on here that I'm just going to develop a bit further. I've started to put some black on. Black is always done last for me. You don't have to do that. But I prefer to put black on last. I just wanted to use this purple to put in some more dots like this, like that. Sort of put in a few dots, and if I put some dots down there on one part, I feel I need to put some dots somewhere else, so I'm going to put them up here just to make sure that that's in line like this. And this is the advantage of acrylic pens, because you can paint on top of what you've already done, and that's quite fun. So those kind of purple dots are linking up with these purple dots. And the other thing that I wanted to do was something else on here. So I'm going to pick up this aqua colour. This one's slightly paler. I'm just going to turn round because those dots are still wet. Like that. It's always good to turn your work round anyway, because you see things in a different way. And I'm going to put some larger sort of oval shapes using this sort of aqua colour. Can you see that it's gone over the top of that sort of pinky colour? Just putting those there. Like that. Just it's easier for my hand to go onto those. Let's just turn that back round again. And let's, again, I want to sort of pick up a little bit of this aqua on these other ones as well. Just a few. Like that. The other thing that I like to do is to use up bits of paint that I've been using for another project. So I'm going to do this. Now I like to use these plastic containers. They're used for takeaways and things like that. But they're really good because they can keep paint quite moist for a while, which is always a good thing. Right, all right, I'm not going to put that on there because it's going to get very muggy. Look at the state of me. I need to go and wash. Oh dear, that was quite funny. That went a very long way, actually. that bit of blue paint. Yes, anyway, back to where we were. Tidied up and clean. I'm going to go over some of these with the paint. So as I say, I've got this left over. I don't like wasting things. I like to use up my leftover paint. And I will quite often make collage papers and things like that. But I thought, no, I'll use these colours. And I love this colour. This is iridescent green. It's, oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful colour. And obviously it has a little bit of sparkle in it. So what's not to like? There we go. So just popping that, and I'm not using any water with that, so it will dry very, very quickly. I think in this top one, I'm going to use the iridescent violet, which is what I've done in these pieces as well, and what I used in my last tutorial. That's why I've got the paint left over, because I was doing some more experimental stuff with these colours. I really liked using them then, so I thought, oh, I'll use them again. There we go. And I'm putting together some ideas for my class that I hold locally here in Dorset. Well, the class is in Devon. I live in West Dorset, so I'm right on the Devon border. So I do quite often do classes in Devon. There we go. And I think we're going to do some gel plate printing. I think that would be fun. There we go. And so we'll make some collage papers, because I was thinking that for next week on YouTube I'm going to do collage hearts. So we've done watercolours, and we're doing acrylic and acrylic pens. So I think collage would be a good next one. So this is all part of the Heartscapes project. So if you're new to the channel and this is the first time you've watched me, you might think, what is she talking about? Well, the Heartscapes project is a community project, and I'm inviting people that I work with where I live to get involved, but I'm also asking you to get involved. And the idea is throughout February you create some artwork or some photography or some needlework or something crafty with the heart as the predominant feature in some way. So it could be the heart as part of a pattern, or it could just be the centre theme, and that would be fine. I'm also encouraging people to write. So perhaps if you like doing art journaling and you like to write, you could do that as well. Perhaps write a little haiku, or a little poem, a bit of prose, perhaps a short story. The idea is that we're using the heart as a symbol for connectivity, for companionship, and for friendship. And it's that kind of love that we have for fellow human beings. And it's something that I feel very strongly about. I think that there is a lot of loneliness in the world for whatever reason. And I think if we can come together and connect by doing something beautiful, I think it's hugely beneficial. So anyway, what I'm doing is going to collate anyone who wants to enter, so there's no cost, no charge at all. Anybody who wants to enter sends me their piece of art or their piece of writing, and I will collate them all. I'll do a bit of curation, and I will create a video for YouTube with some original music, and I will create a book. And the book will be one of those lovely books that you can put on the coffee table, that kind of book. And my idea is that all of your work will be in the book. Anyway, the details are in the description if you want to take part. And if you want to buy the book, you know, have your own copy afterwards, then I'll show you how to do that as well. But I think it would just be really nice. I've had a few entries already, which is all rather lovely. Right, I've kind of put those on there. I'm going to leave that to dry. And what I'm going to do, just move that across. I'll try not to get messy again. I'm going to do a tiny bit more on this page, leave that to dry, and we're going to have a look at what I do on this side as well. So I am going to try and not get quite so messy with this one. So with this one, I just divided the page into 9. With this, I just got a pencil and drew rectangles quite randomly, and then I've started to put in some hearts. So I'm going to start on this page. I'm going to go back to this because I just want to show you that you can do this very, very quickly. I'm just going to do some hearts just with freehand, but like I said before, you could use a stencil, you could use a template, you could cut one out. Actually, I'm going to show you what I did with one of my students just the other day. Actually, there's a scrap of paper here. Let's just fold it in half like that. I'm going to grab some scissors. Let's just turn it round that way, I think. What are we going to do? Yeah, we're going to turn it around this way. And we're just going to cut it like that. And we have our heart. So we were doing those with, I was doing those with some of my little ones. But it means you get a very symmetrical heart. You might not want a symmetrical heart. So I'm actually going to use this one, I think. I'm going to pop it there so it goes over the top. It's just going to, now I've lost my pencil. Oh, I am having a good day today, aren't I? Here we go. This one will do. It's going to go just around my paper template. So this heart is over the top of those shapes. Again, if you're too scared to go straight in with a pen, just go in with a pencil. I'm just putting lots of hearts. And the thing is, the more you do, the better you're going to get. I'm going to do hearts, and I've put in a few flowers here. Let me just move that like that. I'm going to pop that. The idea of a flower. Again, you could use a template for this as well. A nice bit of blobby paint there. Again, I'm not spending a lot of time on this. You don't have to. You can just have a bit of a play, really. You're not thinking about it too much. Quite liking this sort of, see how this space inside the heart. Quite liking that. Yeah, so you can do some other things. Let's just put another flower there, I think. Just putting it round like that. Okay, so very, very messy. What are we going to do to make it look good? So you just have to keep building into it. So I'm going to do some circles in this one. I'm going to do a few just so you can see my process. And And then I will put on some music or listen to a story or a podcast, do some more, and then I'll come back and show you what I've done. But I really want to emphasize that you can just make it up as you go. It's, it doesn't have to be complicated, even though it really does look complicated. It really isn't. Right, let's just have here. I say I've done this with some of my younger students using crayons. We used crayons. It was lovely. Let's just put in this. I think we needed to have a bit of this aqua blue. But it is a great way of just using up extra colours, just letting your mind relax a little bit. Okay. And remembering always that things go through the messy stage, as this is very much the messy stage. There's no cohesion to it at all. It just, yeah, looks a mess. And that's okay. There we go. One thing I do like to do, it's a good design principle, is that if you've used a colour in one piece of the design, reflect it somewhere else. That will bring things together. It won't look like it at the moment, but that's what happens. So if I've put these colours here, I'm going to put a few little dots over there. And I think I'm just going to turn my book around a little bit just so I can lean. I'm going to take this bit of the heart. You see where that edge is? That's quite an unusual shape. Quite like it. And I'm just going to shade that bit in. I'm going to do some patterns on top of it. But I am going to wait for it to dry completely. It won't take long to dry. That. So I do think that shape's quite interesting. And then that will kind of correspond with that bit of aqua. So I'm going to put some other colours here. I'm going to add some of the green, obviously some more pink. And we're going to come back and I'm going to show you what I do next. So I've done a little bit more. And I'm just going to show you how I kind of pull some of this together now. So I'm using this pale blue. I've used it in a few places. So I'm just going to put a few more thoughts down. Quite liking the pale blue with the orange. They're complementary colours here, opposite sides of the colour wheel. So I know they're going to look quite good together. I am liking this. I'm going to do the blue line over there. And there. Again, it's all looking very messy, but it's okay.
Do you remember that reusable cup?
Oh dear, this is turning into be a very funny video. Yeah, that was my husband, not realising that I was recording. Oh dear. And it shows that I'm human. So yes, what was I doing? Pale blue. I'm going to pick up a bit more of the pale blue over here. Again, so you can kind of create these sort of like stripes and contours. And you see it will start to come together. But I think we need to have patience when we're doing things like this. And I'm not always a very patient person. I want to get things done. But the nice thing about this sort of work is that you can just keep adding bits to it as you go. You can leave it for a while, you could leave it for a few days and come back to it. And sometimes that's exactly what we need to do. Because, you know, not many of us have several hours at a time where we could just paint and doodle, however lovely that might be. Just going to do that here, like that. I haven't put any words on this page apart from there, so I'm thinking maybe it'd be quite good to put in some text. I'm just going to put in a little bit of green here. Again, lots of different ways that we can use text and typography in our work. So I'll just show you a few that I like to use. And again, you can do stuff freehand, you can use stencils. I'm going to do a bit of freehand. And I'm going to go in on this blue one here. And I'm going to write the word love. Again, I'm going to do it in pink. I'm going to go over the top of what I've done already. And just do that a few times in the same sort of way. So the word itself becomes a pattern over the top. Like that. We can do them large letters and small letters, and then with that kind of wavy bit, and pop that in there. So it's quite subtle, that one. And we can do that in other spaces as well. So let's just turn this bit round. And let's write the word love in this space here. Squish it up a bit there. So when the word becomes part of the pattern, I think that, I really like that. I think it becomes very interesting then. Because it's not something that you can see straight away, so sometimes it's not obvious. It can actually look really effective. Let's just sort of turn that one round again, and you can see it. So I'm just kind of putting that bit of lime green in there. Now over this side, started to put that green in the background. I like that. I'm going to carry on putting some of that green in the background, and then I'm going to work on this particular section. I'm going to go over with a white acrylic pen, and I have recently found a very, very good white acrylic pen, which I will share with you. So let's do that, and then I'm going to put some green dots like that. Okay. So the pen I'm going to use is a Drawlish. I have put the link below if you want to find one for yourself. And now I'm just going to put some blue. I'm going to put some white marks over the top. Give it a bit of a shake. You could also use white paint. That would work as well. Oh, I have been using this a lot. I will go over the white again, but it has a good coverage. So don't be afraid to go over the top of something that you've done. I'm just going to keep these lines going kind of parallel. The lines go across like that. And I do like this technique of layering. I like it very much. But the other technique that I really love is the scribble. And this can get people a bit scared as well. So I'm going to put in an initial scribble over this with my white. And what it does is it breaks up the space. And it does create a very interesting background. And it's fun. Just popping that one there, putting my lid back on. So these are coming along. I'm going to do a little bit more with this one here. Let's go in with my bluey green here, putting in the outline of the flower like that, and then I'm just going to do some little flourishes like that. And let's just go around the edge of that shape, and then I'm going to shade in the background. So some of these are very, very simple. I'm just going to do a loop there. So I hope you're getting some ideas now. And if you do want to submit your design and your artwork, you could do a combination. So you could do a page like this with lots of different hearts. Like that. So again, I'm going to work on this one a little bit more, and I'll see you in a moment. So I've done a little bit more. I'm now going to go in with my black and to sort of finish off a few bits. As I say, I'm not going to do the whole of this. I'm just going to show you some of the things that I do, sort of bring things together. So these are the little pink marks that I put on before. I've got the white heart in the background, quite like that. I'll leave that there. I'm quite liking that, that's quite fun. And I'm just going to do a few outlines and a few more marks. And you could use a black marker pen, you could use a different colour. So it just gives it a little bit of definition. Like that. I'm going to leave that one as it is, keep that quite subtle. I did a bit more of this one. This one is looking a bit of a mess, isn't it? Let's see what I can do with this one. Let's start off by going around some of these sort of bubbles, or pebbles they might be. Pebbles on the beach. I think sometimes when we just add a little bit more, bring it together. I do like circles. I use circles a lot in my work, and spirals. I haven't done many spirals in this one. Let's just do some lines. You see, it just kind of adds something else to the space, like that. And let's now just do this one down here. So I like these ribbons. I'm going to imagine that this ribbon here is going underneath this one, like that, and then this one going under that one and over like that. That's quite fun. I like putting in those sort of ribbons as little flourishes. I think that's quite quirky. Let's see what we could do with these. Let's just have a few outlines on the circles. Little bubbles. And then I might just leave that one as it is. So let's come over to this one. Let's work on this. I'm going to put a little spiral in that one now. Like that. And then I just going to go around the edges. Oh, it's a little bit scratchy. And then round these as well. Bringing that idea together. Actually, I'm just going to turn the book around the other way. It's always quite good to look at something upside down, actually. Just put that there. Let's bring that pen line around this way. Like that. And then I could highlight some of the, just give that a bit of a shake. That's better. Just like that. There we go. Put some little definitions on these as well. Pick up that one as well. I like these white lines going over the top. I like that. And maybe some dots. Let's turn it back round again. And then lastly on this one, I'm just going to do a little bit on this little one here. Let's just do kind of like a double layer there. And then that coming, it's like a frame around it. Like that. So I'm going to leave this page and we're going to go back to this one. I'm going to do sort of similar things on this one, just so that you have the idea. I'm going to do some contours with white acrylic. So a slightly different feel to this page than the other one. And again, I'm just sort of bringing in these lines. I do like stripes as well. And you could use a ruler and have, you know, really straight lines. That could look quite effective as well. Let's put a few little white dots in here. And then I want to do some more in these shapes. I'm going to pick up on the greens that I've used on this page. Just to give this one a bit of a shake. And I'm going to put some more stripes on this one. Like that. I would absolutely love to see what you're doing. So if you're in the Facebook group, please post what you're doing. I'd love to see that. And if you haven't joined yet and you want to, then the link is in the description, as I said earlier. There we go. Let's do this, continue this heart with a green, I think. Kind of picking up on that same element. I've got another little loopy thing here. I do like this kind of shape as well. Let's just put a few a few bits in there. I'm only going to do a few of these because I think you're getting the idea of what I do. Let's put some more circles on that one. Again, sort of picking out some of the elements. Let's just go in with the black, just on a little bit, and give it a bit more definition. And there is some space on this one to do some words, so I might do that. Let's put some lines in. Like that. And then we've got this yellow shape here. Let's put some lines on that one as well. And we've got this one. I think I really did a little spiral there. I do like a spiral. Oh, let's finish off with this one. There we go. Again, I'll have these same sorts of lines and a few dots. This is looking a bit odd in the middle. Let's bring that together a bit more. Like that, I think. Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun. I think you've probably guessed that, haven't you? Let's do a line in the middle of that. See what that might look like. Oh, that's quite quirky. One of the questions I do get asked quite frequently is, how do I know when to stop? And yeah, that is a problem. But it's quite a fun problem actually, isn't it? I think that's the thing with doodling. You can just continue with it, or you can come back to it after weeks or months. That one down there. I might do some words around there, perhaps a little poem going right the way around in that bit. Let's just do this. Just some more little contour lines. And I think I'm going to leave it like that, and I might come back to it in a few weeks' time. So we've got this one and this one. I really hope you enjoyed that you've got lots of ideas of things that you want to do to develop your own art, and I really hope that you are going to join in with the Heartscapes project. That would be absolutely wonderful. All the details are below, and that would just be so lovely to have you join us with that. If you haven't liked and subscribed yet, that would be very nice too. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.